Here we have some voice memos that he sent to a woman who he sexually abused. And I want to give a warning now that they are particularly difficult to listen to.
I will be debunking this because they continue to show this type of clip, which is not evidence in the court.
Are you seriously so offended I strangled you a little bit? You didn't pass out. Chill the out. Jesus Christ. I thought you were cool. What's wrong with you?
Finally, Andrew Tate has been officially indicted for assaulting and abusing numerous women. Tate and his brother Tristan will now have to face trial for their crime. So let's get into some of the details about that indictment. From The Guardian, the Tate brothers are accused of luring the women to Romania before exercising acts of physical violence and mental coercion, according to a translation of a statement from Romania's Directorate for Investigating Organized Crime and Terrorism. The alleged victims were later taken to buildings in Ilfov County in Romania, where they were intimidated, placed under constant surveillance, and forced into debt, according to the statement. The defendants then allegedly forced the women to produce pornographic content, which was shared on social media. Prosecutors in Romania have charged Andrew with raping one of the alleged victims, while Tristan has been charged with instigating others to violence. Okay. BBC said a Romanian judge had 60 days to inspect the case and that the trial would likely take years. No start date for the proceedings was announced. And of course, in true Andrew Tate fashion.
Okay, so they're claiming that Andrew Tate had these women come over to Romania to do apparently sex work on OnlyFans, which is what the main content was. When they say social media, they were forced to do pornographic material on social media, apparently, right? What did they clarify social media? It's not clear, but more than likely they're talking about OnlyFans, which is what they're talking about. And by the way, the Tate brothers got rich when they were 28 years old, okay? 28, late 20s. They're now in their mid 30s, okay? So they're already multimillionaires, and you're telling me that these guys took these women, forced them into pornographic material on OnlyFans, right? For what? To make more millions of dollars? And they were like extracting their TikToks and stuff like that, which is also part of the investigation. So it doesn't really make too much sense to me on that aspect, right? And then they stating that there was some rape charges on Andrew Tate. Now, again, there's no evidence on that. If they were forced to be on OnlyFans, which these girls, apparently there's like 6 of them, and apparently, not only that, 2 of them already came out and said that they weren't victims. So let's minus 2 of those. So like 5 of them, who knows if they even exist, states that they were forced on OnlyFans to do these biddings. But who are the guys that bought into that? Where's the evidence? Where's the pornographic material or anything of that nature? Because I'm more than certain people archived this stuff. If they were making a bunch of money off these women that were being trafficked, where's the videos? Where's the evidence? It should be there in the internet and the archives, the people that actually purchased it, if they were actually making money off of these women. It doesn't really make sense to me, But according to them, that's where they're going with it, So let's move on here.
He immediately took to the internet and his legion of incels to desperately try to spin the story in his.
There you go. I'm a legion of incels right here. She's calling me an incel. All right, fat bitch. Let's go on.
He posted this tweet in regards to his indictment that says, "I'm sure this case has absolutely nothing to do with stealing my wealth, despite the fact that he's currently under investigation for tax fraud, along with everything else. So that wealth that he has might not even be lawfully his in the first place."
Okay.
He also posted a long video compilation with the various allegations of abuse against soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo, as well as Neymar, Johnny Depp. So this was the caption from that video. It says, "Men, this isn't about me. This isn't about whether you like me or not. This is about all of us. Today it's me, tomorrow it's you. nobody is safe from these lies, although I think that most people who are not the perpetrators of human trafficking are safe from being indicted for human trafficking. Now, the problem for Andrew Tate specifically is that he's on camera admitting to doing all of these crimes. Here we have some voice memos that he sent to a woman who he sexually abused. And I want to give a warning now that they are particularly difficult to listen to.
I will be debunking this because they continue to show this type of clip, which is not evidence in the court.
Am I a bad person? Because the more you didn't like it, the more I enjoyed it. I loved how much you hated it. Turned me on. Why am I like that? Why? I am one of the most dangerous men on this planet. Sometimes you forget exactly how lucky you were to get by me. Would you rather me pin you down and make you do things you didn't like, or would you rather you didn't like that I was thinking I can do whatever I want to? That's what it is. I'm the smartest person on this planet. Are you seriously so offended I strangled you a little bit? You didn't pass out. Chill the out. Jesus Christ. I thought you were cool. What's wrong with you?
So let's look at what we just heard. First off, there is no response to any of these voice clips. It's clearly cut up. So it's all edited. There's no context of what the conversation was. As far as I know, the media is saying that he's admitting to crimes, just like TYT, who are completely and utterly dishonest, just like the mainstream media. Here's the thing, no context, okay? There's no replying to this woman who claims that she recorded this stuff. She's not responding. We don't know if even there's a woman that's responding to them. If I was part of the mainstream media that's full of lies, I would say Andrew Tate is a homosexual and he's talking to another man. And then I show you that clip and there's no other voice talking to them. You can spin the story however way you want, okay? This clip is not being used as any accusations against Andrew Tate because there's no context to this clip. It's a worthless clip that TYT continues to post and state that this is proof of his allegations are true. So again, totally dishonest. Sorry. Ain't nobody falling for this shit.
Cenk and Andrew Tate continuously told everybody that these...
You got Cenk Uygur in the house right here. Cenk Uygur, let's see what he has to say.
Charges were never gonna happen and here they finally are.
Yep, so there's one of the charges that I have a little bit of an issue with, Rayyvana, and I will talk that through in a second. But let's talk about the charges he appears to be very guilty of. So they'll go to court and they'll present all the evidence, but those were Trump-like confessions. I strangled you a little bit. So what? What do you?
Grab
and
her
you were
by the
complaining
pussy.
about it. In other words, you didn't want to be strangled. I strangled you against your will.
No mames, bro.
It's gonna be hard to get past when you go to court. That is rock solid evidence.
Again, that voice is not even any evidence that it was cut out of context. Again, they're using stuff that's completely cut out of context, okay?
Against you. The other one was worse. I did it again. He's pretty much admitting right there that he gets sexual acts against the will of these women. And there's another word for that, it's called rape. And so anything that involves physical violence, confessions to physical violence, sexual assault, he's in a world
Cenk, you are so smart,
of trouble, and it appears that they have plenty of that. And so anything related to human trafficking and coercion, whether it's financial and otherwise, that are legally against the law in Romania and is part of the case of human trafficking, makes sense. Again, world of trouble. The one part, Ray, that I thought was a bit questionable, and then let's talk through whether it's questionable or not, is mental coercion. Because a lot of things could be considered mental coercion, and usually in a normal relationship, there's plenty of lying back and forth, both men, women, etc. And where do we draw the line on mental coercion? That one I'm a little uncomfortable with.
Okay, So basically what Cenk is saying, like mental court, in other words, there's lying on both sides in a regular relationship, okay? So they're claiming Andrew Tate used, which he's alluding to, the lover boy method, okay? So there's a lot of back and forth between the two genders. Cenk is actually calling out this situation where he's asking questions on that. But let's see what this dumb bimbo bitch has to say about that.
Yeah, so I've looked into this case today, and we discussed
like
previously when I was on the show how he actually trafficked these women in the first place. It's called the lover boy method. I think there's a really big misconception as to how sex trafficking happens. It's typically not someone being snatched off the street by a stranger. In fact, that accounts for less than 1% of the cases. Almost all sex trafficking is perpetrated by somebody that the victim knows.
Wrong. Okay, so when it comes to sex transportation, okay, she's stating that the vast majority of victims are victimized by people that they know. Now, where does she get this? First off, the main coercion of these victims do not come from people that they know, okay? She's correlating something that has to do with molestation. A lot of cases, especially when they're young, comes from molestation, comes from either a family member or a friend or a family friend, etc., people that they know. She's putting that particular argument into the trafficking. The vast majority of cases that happen is not by force. It actually happens by fraud. It happens by fraud. So for example, a big way that they get these women is they put false advertisement in either newspapers, internet ads, etc. They apply for that, they come by for the interview, and once they're held alone, they do it by force and grab them. The vast majority of cases when it comes to that is through online coercion. It's fraud, right? They do it by fraud and then they go by force.
And the way that Andrew Tate did it was to convince these women who he selected to be vulnerable targets.
Wrong.
He convinced them that he was in love with them, gained their trust and brought them to Romania after convincing them that they were going to be in a relationship with him. And then his intent was to force them into to be sex trafficked afterwards. That is not
force them into OnlyFans. Yeah, even though we have evidence of these girls partying at the mansion. They were free to go. They went and did grocery shopping, okay? If they were being trafficked, holy crap. That is the most luxurious trafficking, I think, in modern day history. That's for dang sure.
Not what they mean by the mental coercion. The mental coercion that they are discussing in this indictment against him is him beating other women in front of these women, threats of that nature. It's actually not the manner in which he brought them over to sex traffic them, but the way that he manipulated them not to leave throughout the sex trafficking. Anything other than the actual physical violence is encompassed by the coercion, the mental coercion.
Yeah, okay, that is such an important clarification. To me, what I was saying in the production meeting is if he's saying like, oh, I love you, and that's how he tricks them, then a lot of dudes are going to prison, right?
Holy crap.
So,
no kidding, I actually know a lot of dudes that, guess what, they lie to women, okay, just to get sex. Just like women lie to men to get free drinks and free meals. It's hand in hand, my friend, okay? This is not something that's illegal, okay? Being a jerk is not a crime.
Listen to her clarification, that is really important. That is not what this is, right?
Oh, Cenk, come on, buddy.
Now, if it's the legal standard for mental coercion in Romania is I beat people in front of you and imply that I'm going to beat you as well. Okay, yeah, that's what I would call that here in American law is assault, because assault is both actually attacking someone and putting them in fear that you are going to attack them by saying it or exhibiting other actions, and that's what it seems like is the equivalent of mental coercion in that case. Does that make sense, Ray?
Yeah, it's along those lines. I will say though, it's really shocking and fortunate that he's actually being prosecuted by the Romanian government, because they've gotten a lot of attacks from organizations that try to address sex trafficking as a country that has had really lax laws on sex trafficking. In fact, Andrew Tate bragged on camera that he moved to Romania because it had significantly laxer rape laws. So
Another lie that has been circulating with this left-wing media. Again, that video that Andrew Tate was talking about, he was literally saying he loves Romania because in Romania you could speed. And again, Romania is mostly a poor country. And he states that I like Romania because when I speed in my Bugatti and my speed cars and XYZ, a lot of the cops can understand, like, oh yeah, like it's Andrew Tate. In America, a lot of the officers tend to be a lot more, I guess you can say, anal about things, and you can't get away with particular traffic laws. Okay, that Romania has a lack of traffic laws. What he was insinuating, they took those words and said he moved over there for the sake of trafficking people. Okay, that's complete and utter garbage. Did not happen. But of course, they'll take his words and try to spin it in their narrative, just like they did with Donald Trump, etc. Right? Donald Trump said Mexico's not sending their best, and then they took that word and said all Mexicans are grapists. It's the same concept here.
It's massive that this is even moving forward, although it's going to take years for this prosecution to actually occur. At least things are changing in that country as far as their treatment towards women.
Yeah, I'm gonna say one last thing here. Look, it's not that the right wing is
That's the feminist in her talking right there.
being targeted. It's that the right wing thought they were above the law. That's why both Trump and Tate would admit to shockingly illegal things, because they thought, what do you mean? We're white right-wingers. No one's ever gonna prosecute us.
Yo.
And we will make America great again.
Okay, here's the thing, man. There are similarities there, okay? That no doubt about that. Actually, I've seen Tate and Trump both have some fucking egos that are kind of on the same level. So I see where Cenk Uygur is kind of going at in this area here.
We can do whatever we want. We can say whatever we want.
He's gonna bash
and we
him, of
never
course.
ever get prosecuted. Well, there was a lot of truth to that, but now apparently not. And by the way,
So you got Hunter Biden, who had tax fraud and being on crack while he owned a gun, and they sentenced him to no prison time, which a normal person would go about fucking 2 to 3 years on that alone. But apparently, when it's Hunter Biden, you just get a slap on the wrist. Okay, Chunky Uygur. Total biased here. Nancy Pelosi also has an issue with inside trading, which is something that even AOC came out and wanted to go against that. So, Chunky Uygur, bro, chill out when you want to say that the right wing gets away with everything when the left is literally doing whatever the heck they want at this point. And you have Hunter Biden with all his schemes over there in the Ukraine. But that's something that he doesn't want to talk about, obviously.
Romania isn't America. I don't know the right wing, left wing dynamic at all. And apparently neither is Andrew Tate. So if he thought he was above the law because he's a white right winger in Romania, he found out otherwise. And if you go to a country saying, I'm coming here because I think the rape laws are more lax.
That did not happen. He also describes Andrew Tate as a white man. Andrew Tate is not a white man. He is actually black, partly black.
That is about as dumb a thing as you could possibly say. And you would only say that if you felt massively entitled to break the law anytime you like. And unfortunately, that's the impression that America and UK left him with, because it's true. Most of the time, wealthy white right-wingers never get prosecuted.
Exactly. And despite what he's alleging, there's no deep state conspiracy to prosecute him in
Wait, deep state?
That's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first.
the very right-wing country of Romania.
The left will always eat themselves. They're like a snake that eats their tail. That's exactly what they are. The Young Turks have terrible takes. They've always had terrible takes. And again, their take on Andrew Tate is just them celebrating the fact that, hey, he got charged, which, by the way, they were held for 6 months, okay? 6 months. And then on the 5 days before they were supposed to get released, they say, let's just charge them just to keep them. And they're, like they said, they're going to delay it for a year, 2 years, They're going to try their best to do this. Now, I hope from the grace of God, which obviously Andrew Tate is doing interviews, which I don't think is a good idea, but he has this faith in God, and all we can do is hopefully he gets past the corruption and the propaganda that the media, especially the BBC, as well as the Young Turks, who are pretty much idiots, have takes on him, okay? But that's all I got for you today. This has been Project VOPod. Like, subscribe, comment down below all your thoughts, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.